All right, guys. Sorry, a little technical difficulties. How we doing today? What's up, everyone? It's Thomas with Real Broker here in St. Augustine, Florida. Coming at you live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. going over the market stats, the news you need to know about if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing. And we're also doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions about anything I cover here, about anything regarding real estate here in Northeastern Florida, or food or entertainment, whatever, we're here for you every Wednesday at 8 p.m. going over those things. So if you're watching it live, you're watching the replay, make sure you throw those comments, those questions below. I'm here to answer them every week live. So I have been having some problems with this live stream setup. I'm not going to lie, I thought it'd be a lot easier than it has been in the past, but it is what it is. So if you're watching it on Facebook, please let me know. I want to make sure it just throwing me errors here left and right saying that it wasn't live. So just let me know if you can see it. If you're watching on Instagram, please let me know. Instagram's been the biggest hurdle for me to get this live stream going for. We should definitely be live on YouTube. If we're not, then I'm missing the buck completely. So please let me know. Shoot me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions about the Northeastern Florida market. So let's go ahead and we'll get started here. I'm going to share my screen, and that's not what I want to share, but either way. So let's take a look at the weekly trends here in Northeastern Florida. This is the median sales price, and as you can see here, the filters won't pop up. I have St. Johns County, single-family condominiums, and townhomes. So we'll take a look at all three of those just so you can see the weekly trends, but we're up 3.5% from last week. But I mean, honestly, guys, don't look at real estate on a weekly basis. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what's happening week over week. From the same time last year, I think this is more of an important number, we're up 11%. And that's real data here, guys. You know, it's not like I'm just pulling. This is from our MLS here, unless they're completely fabricating these numbers. This is the real stuff. So let's take a look at the. Now this is something that you won't be surprised to see. Well, actually, I am surprised to see this. So up 21% from the same week prior. Last year, and then up 26% from last week. So once again, don't look at it week over week, but let's take a look at the median days on market, see how much that's changed. So we're up a good bit. The prior week we're at 31. We're currently ending at 53. Same week last year is about 49. So we're really kind of still in that same kind of market. And days on market is a good way to measure the demand that we have in our market. Obviously, higher days on market is going to mean that there's a lot of homes just sitting, right, and not selling as fast as they used to. It's not obviously like it was back in the COVID times where, you know, 19 days on the market, but things have definitely changed pretty quickly here. So our real estate market, as we get into the summer, we do have the seasonality of our market, and typically summer, because of our school districts here, a lot of people want to move within that time, right? So they get the kids settled before the school year starts. So that's when we normally see the peak in pricing, right? So once we hit June and July, that's when the most expensive prices we're going to see throughout the year happen every single year. So that's really important to note. If you have any questions about that, guys, just let me know. I want to see if we have anyone. We got one comment here. We can see you from Alabama on YouTube, the Shaddocks. Let's go. Thank you so much for letting me know. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, please let me know to see if you are seeing this live. Had some issues, which is why I started a little late here today. But the Shaddocks, thank you so much from Alabama. What brings you to the show? You looking to move here? Maybe just looking at, you know, other southern towns, considering them. But let's head on to the next news story here, guys. We'll start off with the first one, I guess. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go to this one. Now, Barbara Corcoran warns waiting too long to buy a house could cost you 20% or more. This is not a flattering picture of her. I don't know why they would choose that, but they did it. Either way, she says that the minute those interest rates come down, all hell's going to break loose and the prices are going to start going through the roof. It's going to be a signal for everybody to come back out and buy like crazy. The house prices will likely go up by 20%, and we'll have a COVID market all over again. And I think this is something that, you know, you guys have probably heard thousands of realtors say, like, you know, don't wait, you know, the worst time to buy a house is, you know, or the best time to buy a house is today. The other better time was yesterday. And there's all these gimmicky kind of things, and I think really what we need to create the message as realtors and as advisors to people is like, hey, do you want to do this, right? Do you want to buy a house? That's the first question, right? Does it make good sense for you? That's the second question, and then let's go from there, right? And for a lot of people, especially in today's market, especially in our area here, it does make good sense for them, especially with the interest rates the way they are, with our housing prices the way they are. 7.5% interest rate, it makes it very difficult to be able to afford a home. The reverse side of that, right, is the cost of waiting, right? So on average, homes appreciate about 3% every single year on a national average. As I just showed you, we've been appreciating much faster than that, and that's hard for people to keep up with. So we live in the nation's oldest city. It's a very cool town. We're 20 minutes to the beach pretty much anywhere you stretch it. Well, there's a lot of places that are further, but for the most part, a lot of us are within 20 minutes to the beach, and we have some great beaches here in St. Augustine. So what's the cost of waiting then, right? So as of right now, our market has kind of opened up a little bit. As you saw, days on market kind of raised a little bit, and we're also seeing seller concessions, right? So we're able to ask the sellers, whether it's new construction, which offer the best deals in the market, and I just negotiated 2 great deals for my buyers this past week on new construction, or it's a resale home. We're able to ask for a lot more than we were back in the COVID days, right? Back the 2 years after the pandemic, if a house was listed at 500, it was probably going to sell for 520 or 540, right? And you're in a multiple offer situation. If you're going to new construction, they were like, hey, put an offer in, put a bid in. They almost treated it like an auction a lot of times. And now we're seeing the verse side, almost like a reaction to that, where things have slowed down pretty good because of the steep rise in interest rates. So what could happen, and what Barbara Corcoran's talking about, is when the Fed decides they want to pivot and start lowering interest rates, the market's going to start pricing that in, and then mortgage interest rates are going to start going down. And then I think they say for every percent that it goes down, they unlock like several million buyers that want to hop back into the market. And that's a lot of people that are in my generation, right? My generation, I'm 32 years old. A lot of people want to start buying their first home, right? And they're really, they lived through the 2008 kind of thing. Maybe they weren't old enough to buy a house or be affected by it, but they saw what happened, and they all kind of like, man, is this going to happen again? So they're kind of hesitant, especially with 7.5% interest rates. It just keeps pushing that further away from them. People that want to relocate to retire, most of them are doing it with cash, so they're kind of not really affected by that, the baby boomer generation. But if they are getting a mortgage, they're more than likely going to new construction because they're buying the interest rate down. So what Barbara's saying is like, hey, when interest rates start going down, if they do, right? We don't know that they will. If they start going down, then we're going to see a rush back to the market. So what she's saying is buying a house now could save you a ton of money because, one, you can negotiate a lot up front. Just on new construction, we just negotiated about $30,000 in incentives for new construction on one of the deals I just had signed yesterday, and then about $25,000 on one of the deals I had signed on Sunday. So that's a good bit of money that my buyers are getting to keep in their pocket. I don't know if that's going to happen if interest rates go down like that, right? We're going to have that mad rush again. So what she's saying is like, hey, now you can find the home you want, you can get the incentive, and yeah, you're going to pay a little bit of a higher price. But if interest rates do go down, you won't be a part of the competition, and you'll also be able to refinance at that time. So you have more time here on the market. You can pick the house that you want. You can get a better deal. And then when interest rates do go down, you refinance that shitty mortgage rate. That's an if and maybe. We don't know if that's going to happen, right? I'd like to note with that, you guys all know Barbara Corcoran probably, but Shark Tank, obviously. Barbara Corcoran owns a brokerage, the Corcoran Group. So she's incentivized to say this kind of stuff, and it has a celebrity status. Her word goes a little further than mine as I'm talking to 8 people here on my live channel here. Her word goes a little bit further than mine. She has a lot more experience. I'm not trying to dog her at all, but she's incentivized to say something like that because she runs a brokerage and that pays her money. So take it with a grain of salt, but there is a lot of truth to what she is saying. If that does happen, it could create a perfect storm. If interest rates get down to the 5s, it's going to be rough for people. It's going to be really rough, I think. And I was a buyer's agent, and I do both. I do both helping people sell, helping people buy, helping people invest. I was a buyer's agent specifically on a team during COVID. And people say, oh, making money in real estate was easy at that time. No, it wasn't. If you were a seller's agent, if you were representing the seller, 100%. It was easy. You put the home on the market, sold in a day, you didn't have to do anything. If you were a buyer's agent, your work multiplied times 6, right? So I saw 6 times the amount of properties. I put in 6 times the amount of offers, and we got denied a whole bunch of times. If you didn't have the best buyer for that property, then you weren't the agent that was getting paid on that deal. So either way, guys, any questions about that, let me know what you think. We got a couple comments here. Let's see. CB, I see that the county is buying North Beach Utilities. The article was in the Business Journal. Yeah, so they just did that up in North Beach, so hopefully the service is up there. That North Beach is part of Volano, if you're not familiar. So I did cover that a couple of weeks ago, but yet that's happening. I think it's going to be a good thing overall, and it's going to help out with some services down there. Maybe it'll make it a little bit cheaper. Who knows? Who knows? We'll stay on that CB, but I actually looked at my email. I'm like, I don't have anything from CB this week. What's going on? So the Shaddocks all depends on the election. Yeah, election years are funny, and I know a lot of people want to hold off for that reason as well. So perfect storm could happen. Maybe exactly what you want to happen in the election. Interest rates go down. We're in a crazy market. Who knows? Or it could be the opposite. Doesn't happen in the election. Interest rates stay where they are, and then the market flops. No one knows. No one knows. We just make educated guesses at this point, right? And that's what I try to do here is just give you the information. Whatever you want to do with that information, take it. Ask me questions about it, and we'll try and figure it out. JJ, let's see. Stop by a cool little coffee shop on Main Street in Hastings. Have you seen that development? That is very neat, Old Florida. JJ, you are so right. I haven't been there, but I've read all about it. Hastings is a rural town right off of 207, probably about 30 minutes from downtown St. Augustine, just straight down 207, and they're redeveloping it. And it's a place like me and my wife, we actually were looking at a multifamily there, which is rare in that area. But we were looking at a multifamily there, and we were almost moved forward on it, but we decided not to because my wife doesn't want to live in the country. So now we live in West Augustine. We're a little bit more country city, aspect. But yeah, I think Hastings, especially with the affordability issues that we're having here in St. Johns County, I think Hastings is one of those areas that it's going to be forced to grow, right? Because people are just going to need a place to live that's still close to town, that can still get some affordability, and also still feel like they live in Florida a little bit. So, JJ, appreciate you, man. Guys, let's go on to the next news story here. I've been working all day. I haven't eaten anything. I say this every time. I want to keep it short and sweet, and it never happens. My camera might die, so we might have to switch over to my Mac camera. It's been a long day. Sorry about that, but we'll get it figured out either way. All right, so on to the next news story, guys. This is something that surprised me, and we hear a lot, too, that the education system here in Florida is not great. But Florida was ranked number 1 in education and number 9 in economy in the U.S. News and World Report. And just in case if you're a Fox News or CNN person, there were a couple of articles, but this one seemed like that it gave more than just like education. So I just clicked on this one. So don't roast me or whatever. So Florida was ranked number 9 overall among U.S. states, up from number 10 in the 2023 list, but specifically it retained number 1 ranking for education nationwide. Oh, my mistake. And number 1 for the spot in the economy. So it's number 9 overall across all the states. Number 1 in the economy, number 1 in the education for ranking. They also noted that we were number 13 for crime and corrections, number 13 for natural environment, number 20 for fiscal stability, number 20 for infrastructure, 26 for healthcare. But the one thing we did kind of lack is... and there goes that camera. Fantastic. That's what you like to see. Let's see if we can't get this working back on my regular camera. Oh, this could be difficult. Oh no. Guys, give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can't change this out quick. It's frustrating. Sorry about that. We can keep talking about this. Maybe I'll just share my screen and we'll keep talking about the Florida education system. And I'd really like to know if you're moving from another state, is that a concern of yours? If you're living here, what do you think about the education system here in northeastern Florida, especially if you've lived other places? Would you say it's better? Would you say it's worse? I mean, most of the comments that I get, on my social media, whether that's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, of course, most people never have anything good to say on any of those platforms. If anyone leaves a review, it's typically a bad one. It's never a good one, right? But I've had people say that the education system here didn't prep their one in specific didn't prep their daughter for college at all. versus, what she felt her education was in the Northeast. Now, this person never went to school here, which is kind of interesting, but she was comparing it to her education back in the day to when she went to school. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't make any sense to me, especially because I feel like college was way different than it is today. And obviously, education is way different overall than what it once was. So if you are from a different area and you're considering this area, does that kind of make you feel better about the education system? Do you know? I might have this working back now. Do you know if it's better or worse? Let me know in the comments below. Or if you've got good things, you got bad things to say, I'd love to be able to hear it because I think it's all very interesting. So let's see if this worked. We're back. We're back. We lost a person. They were like, we want to see his handsome face. Just kidding. So JJ, let's see here. Jacksonville ranked number 2 hottest job market by Wall Street Journal. That did happen as well. Guys, if you didn't hear about that. And I think that's one thing. Florida ranked number 1 with the economy in the entire United States. So if you're considering moving here, that's something to really heavily weigh is, what's going to happen to the real estate market? Well, if we have a great economy, what can happen with the real estate market? Not saying that only means we can go up, but I'm just saying it does kind of enforce a little bit of stability, correct? But JJ, appreciate your comments here. Really do. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, what we're covering here, throw them off in the comments below. Let's see. We got one more. I'll get on the next news story here. Education is overrated. Florida's number 1 in big ass gators. And you know what? That's John. You seen any gators on Volano Beach, John? Come on, man. But yeah, we do got some big ass gators. You're going to the alligator farm. They have Gomek there, who's a stuffed gator, and I mean he's probably taller than me. Like once he opens his mouth, it's insane. But yeah, gators are nice. You got we call them swamp puppies, but the crocodiles what you got to look out for. So, John, always appreciate you chiming in here. Let's go on to the next news story here, guys. I'm going to share my screen. Boom, boom, boom. All right, get on to the important stuff, the nitty gritty that you guys want to know about. Actually, I just care about this stuff. I feel like this is probably where people are like, I don't give a shit about the roads. Stop talking about this. But the St. Johns County Board of Commissioners outlines a $588 million capital improvement projects for roadways, drainage, public facilities, and coastal projects from 2021 till now. John, that's going to affect you. I know that they've, it might not be in your area. They might have finished where you're at, but they had to stop actually doing the renourishment of Volano Beach, which is pumping sand out there, bringing sand out there because of a migratory bird that was hanging out there. So they had to put it on pause for a little bit. But yeah, so they have several different projects. Old Moultrie Road they're trying to improve. Holmes Boulevard and King Street Extension, which is going to lead into our next news story, guys, because this is something I've been following up for a couple weeks now. But all this stuff, especially when it comes to West Augustine, which is where I bought a house, super stoked on, and I think it's all going to be great stuff. Pavement management, we need that in St. Johns County, especially 16 and 95. But 60% of the funding comes from the federal and state grants. 27% comes from the Transportation Trust Fund, and 13% is from tourism and or was borrowed. So the pavement management is going to be improvements to Old Moultrie Road, Holmes Boulevard, and the King Street intersection. Roadway projects include 2209, County Road 210, County Road 210 East, Longleaf Pines Parkway, Michler Road, and State Road A1A. They're also going to put signals at Preservation Trail, Stratton Boulevard, Pine Island Road, which desperately need, that's an entrance to Nocatee. It's right off of US 1 where people hit like 75 miles per hour, and you're just turning in and turning out of there like you're just praying pretty much. The widening of Racetrack Road, improvements on State Road 16, which they've been improving, never stop improving yourself, just like State Road 16, and International Golf Parkway, and road improvements at Woodlawn and King Estate. Drainage programs they're going to do as well, and then coastal investment projects, which is what they're talking about earlier with the sand, which was temporarily delayed. So all these things are good things, guys. This is all good stuff. We want our infrastructure to grow here in St. Johns County, especially I think West Augustine. It seems like they're trying to get ahead of it a little bit because one, it's already it needed some love, 100% needs some love. But I also think that this area, they're already building. They got like pretty much 3 new construction communities within West Augustine as of right now, and St. Augustine Lakes is one of them. I was just talking to Hooper over at St. Augustine Lakes. He's the site rep there, and man, they're selling houses like crazy. It's insane. Now they have a 4.5% interest rate there, which is also insane, especially in today's market where they're 7.5%. But I think they're 450 homes already, and they've been open a year. They're already halfway done. There's my dogs in the background. They're saying hi. On to the next news story here, guys. So let's see here. And this isn't a surprise to me. St. Johns County Commissioners. Sorry, my dogs are annoying. St. Johns County Commissioners vote down plan to build 288 affordable apartments over traffic concerns. The plan was to build the workforce housing apartments along County Road 16 near Silverleaf Parkway. And you know what? They were going to build 300 affordable apartments in northwest St. Johns County, which, if you guys have any clue what's going on in St. Johns County, a ton of people are moving here. They're building homes all over the place, and the prices of homes have gone up drastically. The average salary here in St. Johns County is probably $50,000, and the median sale price is around $550,000. So the math doesn't really math for a lot of people. And it seems that any time that they bring up, and this is something that I cover all the time, and it really annoys me, because you would think that, okay, this isn't working. What's going on here? You would think that affordable housing would be something that people can all get behind. But it seems that whenever affordable housing ends up in a wealthier neighborhood, like they denied one, I can just think of 2 right off the bat. They denied one off of St. Augustine Beach, right? It was right off of 312. Prime location for it. It was going to be on county land. So the county already owned it and they were going to build it. And they were like, no, traffic. It's like, come on. And they say traffic, but at the end of the day, what they're really saying is not in my backyard. I bought my $700,000 house. I don't want any affordable housing right next to my $700,000 house. And that's the truth of it, right? That's the truth of it. And that's the same thing that's going on here in Silverleaf. It's so frustrating. And honestly, this is one of the things that really bugs me is, and let me share my screen here, is they took a quote from someone, right? And let me see here. So they gave 2 sides of the coin, right? So I have employees who work at nearby location that are good, hardworking people that travel an hour to work every day because they can't afford to live here. For a landscape supply store, I asked that we really think about this, and the people are serving at a hamburger at Whataburger, someone loading a customer's car with plants. They're just as important as somebody who's a lawyer or a doctor. So that's one school of thought, right? We got that person who seems like, hey, let's get these guys some housing, right? Because we need these people. They don't need to be driving an hour. And then there's this guy, and he says, driving an hour to work, I'm sorry, not sorry, not sorry. What are you, a millennial? Said one St. Johns County resident who said he moved to the county 3 years ago from Pennsylvania after retiring from law enforcement. I didn't get to live here until I was 49, 3 years ago. Sorry, affordability. I earned a right to live here because I followed the societal norms. I worked my way up. I earned it. If someone has to drive an hour to work, that's part of getting your career started to eventually grow and move up. What's your take on that, guys? What is your take on that? I really like to know, because St. Johns County Sheriff makes like $55,000 a year here. So they can't afford a house to live here. They got to live in another county to commute here. And I've had the conversation with Sheriff Hardwick about that, right? Like, and he asked how it could help. And there's only so much I can just educate, right? I want to give money away, right? I don't have that much money though. But like, to me, it's like, hey, listen, everyone's got to pay their dues and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But it's like, we also need some type of housing for people that don't make $100,000 a year. And I think that's reasonable. But guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm just a bleeding heart over here. But I think it's kind of funny because, like, if you're talking about being in law enforcement, it's like, yeah, you were in law enforcement until you were 49, right? So you retired pretty early, so you put your 20 years in. But it's a lot different, buddy. Like, you probably made a good salary for a long time, and prices were a lot different when you started working 20 years ago. And 3 years ago when you bought a house, prices were a lot different too. Probably couldn't afford it today if you were just coming to buy today after your retirement, moving from Pennsylvania. Just playing devil's advocate here. I'm here to help, but this is to me that just seems like an interesting statement. It's like, yeah, I bought a house here, but I don't think anyone should be able to have. I don't think we should have affordable housing. Like, it's weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I crazy on that? What do we say? So let's go. Let's see. We got a couple of comments here. The Shaddocks, #1 complaint when we visit there is traffic. Is that a complaint from you guys, the Shaddocks specifically, or is that a complaint from like locals? I know locals hate the traffic, and to me, it's like you guys have just never lived anywhere else. You know, the traffic here is not that bad outside of like Night of Lights, summertime, you know, and choke points. But if you're a local, you know how to get around them anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it's that bad. I've lived a whole bunch of other places though, so I came from an extreme. You know, I lived in New York, and like New York, the traffic's terrible. Like, it's night and day better here. But if you're comparing traffic to 20 years ago here in St. Augustine, yeah, it's worse. It's way worse. But like, more people live here, you know? So I also think it's a lot better of a town. It's a lot more fun. Alejandro, what's up, man? Hope you and the parents are doing well. Hope you and Carolina are doing well. Alejandro's a great dude. We just helped his parents buy a nice little house. Well, they're under contract, so we'll get to the closing table hopefully soon. Yeah, hope you're doing well, man. Appreciate you being here tonight. We got Janet. Oh, Janet, I think this is one of my clients. I believe it is. See me on Instagram. That's awesome. It's finally working. I've got the kinks worked out. Got the well-oiled machine. Hope you're doing well, Janet. Tell Thomas I said hello. CB, what will the rents run in the new apartments that are under construction on Volusia and West Augustine? Man, the rents are cheap, man. I think like the one bedrooms are starting at $700 a month. Now that's going to go for like 2 or 3 years, I think, and then I think like 2 or 3 bedrooms, like 13 or 1400. And like that sounds really cheap now, right? But like before the pandemic, that's pretty much what rents were. Like for a 1 bedroom, you'd pay maybe at most $1,000, right? So that's just kind of like what it was. But then our housing market changed so quickly. A lot of, you know, the wages obviously didn't keep up. So that it sounds like it's not a lot, but it is for that certain area, right? So let's see. That guy totally, I'm with you, John. That guy doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. All right, guys, let's get on to the next news story. I'm going to share my screen here. I got one more for you, and then I'm off for the night. So if you have any questions, throw them off in the comments below. But I think this one's a good one to end off with. So let me share my screen. Boop, boop, boop. Man, all these ads. Does anyone actually click on any of these ads? Like, oh my God. Historic house linked to Martin Luther King Jr. successfully moved to new location in St. Augustine. Historic St. Augustine home was relocated. So this home was firebombed at one point and shot during a key time in the civil rights movement and is now moving to a new location. King was famously photographed inside the house, pointing to where the bullet came through a glass door into the home. So if you don't know, St. Augustine was a pivotal role in the civil rights movement. A lot of black history here within the city of St. Augustine, and a lot of bad stuff. Like it was not good by any means, obviously, by this photo, right? This is not what you want to see of the past of your town, but hey, it is our history. Let's cover it. So the one good thing is that it's been relocated from 5480 Atlantic View to Collier Blocker Per Year Park on North Holmes Boulevard in St. Augustine. And if you guys remember, there was a museum, Florida Black History Museum location, that St. Augustine is trying to get a African American museum here in St. Augustine in the location. Maybe this is probably not going to pop up, of course. I should have pulled this up. Oh, here we go. Proposed location of Black History Museum in St. Augustine. So this is actually on a piece of property that was, I believe it was a HBCU initially. It's not there any longer. I believe the college still owns that property, but I also think this was a strategic move for the city and the county, because if I show you, let's go to Google Maps, Google Maps. All right. So this is downtown St. Augustine. This is King Street. You follow this along here. King Street goes down here, and then you have South Holmes Boulevard. So that piece of property where the Black History Museum may go is right here, right? So it may go right at this intersection of Holmes and King Street. Where they moved that Martin Luther King house is right here. So they put it right, it's front to West King Street right here. So to me, that seems like it was done on purpose, right? There's a million other places you could have put that, and we're in one of the top positions for the Black History Museum because of the history of St. Augustine, because of just how St. Augustine and tourism works here already. We're kind of like in prime position for it to move. At least that's what they said. But I think this would be a fantastic ad. It would bring more business. It would bring more people. Stretch it down here from downtown St. Augustine. They're adding the parking garage right here at the corner of US 1. I think that's going to be built by 2028, so people are going to park there. They're going to have the option to go here. West City, which this is actually West Augustine. They just coined this West City recently. West City right over here. That's starting to boom. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of nice little places down there, a couple bars, a couple places to go shopping. And then you have this area over here. So you're going to start pulling people down this West King corridor, and hopefully we'll start to see more business return to the main street in West King. And I think that's a fantastic ad. I'm stoked on it. Of course, I bought a house here in West Augustine, so I'm all for it. I think it's going to be a good thing for the people here, for the community, and I think it'll also spur more development of commercial property and also change zoning for properties. If you live on West King right now and you own a piece of property, reach out to me, because I really think if you own property on West King, and it might be residential, there is a high probability that you could probably change it to commercial, and maybe you develop it yourself. Maybe you sell it for a better chunk of money than you would have if it was residential. Because I actually know a realtor that does that. They'll go and scout properties that are residential that they know their highest and best use is commercial, and then they'll have a lobbyist go and lobby for it to be changed to commercial zoning, and then they'll sell the property, and then they'll make a ton of money. So that could be for you, it could not be for you, I don't know, but I feel if you do own property on West King, directly on West King, it might be worth it to try and see how you could get that zoning changed, because I think it could be a great little commercial corridor going up through West King. If you look at the area of, let's see, maybe I can show you guys here on Google Maps. I might be able to. Let me see. So if you look at the area here, where's the little guy? Where's the street view? How do I get to that? Oh, is this in the way? There we go. Sorry. So let's get to the street view here. So we'll go up here from West King. So this is at the intersection of US 1. This will continue to be here. The Browdy's Liquor Mart sold a 5-acre parcel, and it's over here. You can kind of see this was already used as parking for downtown St. Augustine. So they are already running shuttle buses from this lot to downtown, which is cool because they're going to put a parking garage, commercial space, and potentially a railroad track to Jacksonville. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. That might be a 10-year project. This is where my wife goes to yoga, a little art studio here, a little tattoo shop here. The yoga studio is new. Go up the street here a little bit more. You have the Bog Brewery right here. You have right behind there this little food truck here, Tacos My Blessing, best tacos in the city. You've got Mugsy's, which is now like my favorite little bar. This is my local neighborhood bar here. They also now have a pizza food truck here, Real Peel Pizza, which is like small little craft pizzas, and they're fantastic. Probably my favorite pizza now, outside of Pizza Time. Gallery, tattoo shop again. This is Coastal Home, and then this is actually not a gallery anymore. I think this is Miss L, which is a clothing store. This is actually being redeveloped. From what I've heard, I overheard a conversation at Mugsy's that this is going to be a music venue in the future. So this actually looks completely different now. They redid the front. They put an awning up. They put some mosaic tile around. Looks really good. Buena Onda is a vegan cafe. The local refillery here, that's where like you can go and just refill large supplies of like shampoo, coffee. It's very earthy and crunchy. Sailbird Distillery right here. So the only place you can get some This is wrong. Screen Arts, it's not that anymore. The only place you can get a cocktail on West King as of now. The Blue Hen is going to be moving into this space right here. They just started doing that. Oh, I moved my screen somehow. There we go. Great. Paper Route, they do comedy shows out of their community events, but now the storefront is now going to be a vintage clothing shop. This is actually being sold, but this is a home furnishing store here. So, and then you move down here and there's this is like a parts and appliance store. And then you have the West Egg in here, great little breakfast spot, and then you have a bakery right here. So my point is that there's a lot of good stuff going on here in West King. Oh, and then also if you go down here a little bit more, it's probably not updated, but yeah. So this little building here was just recently sold to the guy who runs Llama, which is the Peruvian restaurant here in town. It's one top 100 restaurants in the United States a couple of times. He just opened a little coffee shop right here. Super cute, my favorite spot to go. My dog goes there all the time, and all the people know my dog's name there. They don't know my name. So, all right, so let's get back to it, guys. That's going to be it. Of course, I said I was going to take a short amount of time, and I took, 40 minutes? Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, beautiful, guys. Appreciate you being here tonight. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in northeastern Florida, make sure you reach out to me and my team. All we try to do is give you the information so that you can make an educated decision on what you already want to do. So, here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. So if you're watching it live, watching the replay, you have any questions that maybe I didn't cover here, throw them in the comments below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Have a great Wednesday night, guys. Talk to you soon. Oh, wait, sorry. I have a couple of comments. I'm sorry. My mistake. I did my whole spiel and yada yada, Okay, so JJ, here we go. Needs to be more interest in investment in older homes. Some neighborhoods condos are affordable but just need TLC. This really annoys me too, JJ. We build we talk about building affordable housing, and all these luxury rental communities go up with no problem. No problem in all these. They build them all over the place, especially in Jacksonville, but now they're building them all over the place in St. Augustine. But why can't we just build condo buildings? Because that can be another, getting your foot in the door for home ownership and building some equity. But they don't. Side note with that too is condos right now. I mean, I imagine a new construction condo, the insurance wouldn't be too bad, but they're just getting, raked over the coals because of the insurance problems with the condo collapse. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. But Stephanie T, go to Miami and see how good the traffic is. Yeah. I feel like maybe Miami was cool at one point. I don't know. My wife went a couple last year sometime. She's like, "Oh, Miami was really cool. It was fun." I went several years ago, maybe a decade ago at this point, and man, I just didn't feel safe. I did not feel safe at all. Every corner I felt like I had to watch my back. And I lived in New York, and New York's very safe. It really is. But, you have a different attitude when you walk around. But I did not feel safe in Miami. But I hear it's a lot different now. A lot more money's moved there. A lot more fun. But, yeah, I'm good on the traffic. I got stuck in that a couple of times. Hard pass. Not as bad as Orlando, though, Stephanie. JJ, thumbs up. You're the man. Appreciate you. Or woman, I don't know. Probably a man. I don't know. Flagler County passed a resolution supporting the African American Museum. Yeah, I didn't see that, but supporting it for St. Johns County? Because Flagler County really has no tourism. Really minimal compared to St. Johns County. So I don't know if that would make sense for them as a museum. But didn't see that. Coastal Home has 2 stores on West King, and they are nice. Yeah, but the one in the commercial space, they're actually closing down. The bigger storefront, the one that's not a part of a strip, they're actually selling that building. So, Team Torito has that. They're a great real estate team here. But they're going to be selling that building, and I think something else will go in there. That'll be just as good. We'll see. Stephanie agrees. CB says yes. So I'm guessing that Flagler County was in support of St. Johns County having it. I think that's what you're saying. It's hard, man. It's hard. I asked so many questions here, so it's my bad. Either way, guys, I appreciate you being here. every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We're going over this kind of stuff unless I really don't feel like doing this. That's just being honest. But I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to get some food. I'm going to have my take the rest of the night off. I hope you guys have a good one. Have any questions, reach out to me directly. Appreciate you being here.